everybody, it's your girl Miss August, and we are back on the Shades of Grey channel with another episode of Both Sides. Okay, so today's episode is going to be about a radio call-in. Okay, so a man called in, a married man, called in the radio station to say he went on a trip. Okay, so he went on a trip to, I think it was homecoming. It was his homecoming. He went to go hang out with his old classmates, his friends and things. And he has a female best friend from college as well. Now his wife knows all about the female best friend, knows everything about them, know how close they are. The problem is that their lives are different, so he doesn't get a chance to see her as often. So during his homecoming, he's going to have the chance to hang out with his female best friend. Again, no problem with the wife at all. So while he was there, he took pictures and photos with all of his friends, including the female best friend. Well, he posts those pictures on Instagram. He posts a group picture of him, all the slides. He posted a slide. But then he posted an individual picture with just him and the female best friend. I don't even know if there was a caption. Not sure if the caption doesn't even matter. It's just him and his female best friend next to a group of slide pictures. So some of y'all might see what the problem might be here and what the issue was with the wife. So basically, the husband was calling in to say that although the wife had no problem personally with the picture and, she isn't feeling jealous or have any issues, her problem is that she doesn't understand why he didn't put the picture of him and the individual female in the slide with the group pictures. She just feels, her complaint was just it makes her feel a little uncomfortable that he posted this picture of the female to give her own separate post. So he is calling in to ask the viewers, is he wrong? Should he take it down? The question was actually, should he take it down? Because not only is bothering his wife, he doesn't think his side is, he doesn't think it's a big deal. Her side is she wants the picture taken down. So he's calling in to ask, should he take it down? Is it a big deal? Okay, so I thought that was pretty interesting and a good topic to talk about. Now, for a lot of people, some people went one way, the other way. The people on her side was kind of saying, well, take it down, immediately just take it down. And people saying on his side saying, hey, what are you talking about? Leave that picture up. It's no problem. What is the issue here? So for her, so I'm thinking of several different problems. I'm going to start off on her side and in her defense before I go to his. So coming from her view, this is what I think is going on with her. Number one, she could be worried about the actual imagery of the picture. What do I mean by that? Okay, unfortunately, in the day of social media, we know there are people that are stalking all our pages, okay? She might have some haters out there. She might know the haters are stalking her husband page, her page, just waiting for the downfall, honey, because there's people out there that we all know are waiting to do that. So she might actually be worried about him posting that individual picture, giving her an individual spotlight. And maybe a hater might be thinking, oh, it's trouble in the marriage. Look how he done posted that picture of him and this woman. Why didn't he put it with the group pictures? That some people might be thinking that too and find a reason to signify, honey, people do that. So she could actually be worried about the whole imagery and how it's actually looking to others. Even though she doesn't see it as a threat, unfortunately, it would be a perfect world if we could just not care what other people think. I don't care what other people think at all. It's not a big deal. But when you're in a marriage, you might be with someone that does care what people think. And she just might be one of those people. At the end of the day, there are people like that. So you can't just dismiss them and say that they shouldn't care. She just does care. She cares what other people think, apparently. So that could be a problem there. Or she may not necessarily be jealous of the woman or afraid that she's going to lose her husband or anything. But she could be insecure. Now, I didn't see the picture of of the husband and the woman and the best friend, and I didn't see a picture of the wife, so I don't know who looking like what. So I don't know if it's a situation of maybe over the years she got comfortable with her husband or something, and maybe maybe she don't look her best, or she don't feel she looks her best compared to the female companion. Maybe she didn't see the female in a while, and that's why she was like, child, ain't no problem, ain't no big deal. But then when you come back with these pictures, maybe she done got fired, honey. She done maybe got some work done. Maybe she just looks good. I don't know. I'm just saying. physically, we're talking physical appearance here. What, keeping it real, what women think, what people be thinking. Okay. So maybe she's seeing her and she's like, oh, she looks really good. The picture of me and my husband together ain't, I'm not looking that great. Maybe this is just a insecurity. And maybe she just doesn't, she'd rather not have this woman, apparently being glorified in a picture with her husband if she herself is not matching that same energy or matching that same look. So it could just be more of an insecure, just going to take it down so I won't be feeling crazy. But maybe not necessarily jealousy. Or she simply could just be jealous. Maybe she's jealous. Maybe she saw something in that picture where she saw a vibe. She picked up on a vibe. She picked up on the energy. She's wondering why does he have this picture separate from the others. That can be concerning because she could be thinking this picture separating from the others is the big deal because for some reason you felt the need to post this, but you didn't want it in the slide with the other pictures. Why not? Why do you want this picture to stand out? Why didn't you put this picture as the first picture of the slide pictures even? Why does it get its own separate post? She could just be thinking, reading really hard into that of what is actually going on here. Why does she get this much devotion from you and what is going on? Like maybe she's picking up on chemistry in a picture. What did y'all do? She might think that that he was giving that other woman some energy or giving her something, and now it's like I put a picture of you on my page separate and my wife can see it, and she might be the wife thinking that, are you saying she means this much to you? She get her own picture of yourself together. Is something going on? We don't know. We're not in this marriage. Maybe it is. Maybe this causing concern. Who knows? But that's just looking for her side. I feel like that may be where she's coming from, the different views she's having, why she would just rather have the picture taken down. Personally, I feel with that first one though, if that was a case of her being concerned, just a side note, if that was a case of her being concerned what other people are thinking, I personally think taking a picture down will look even worse because then it's like he took the picture down. Oh, honey, the wife got mad. She got mad and made him take the picture down. So I feel like if it was number one, taking the picture down to me would just, I don't know, just kind of make it look even worse to other people because it's not like they know you got a problem with it and then made you take it down. So I think taking it down for that reason, I don't know. That's just my little 2 cents on that end. But again, now we're going to the husband, and I'm trying to figure out what the husband was thinking when he posted this picture. Okay, so number one with the husband. Maybe he just thought he looked great in the picture. I don't know. Maybe he just thought he looked so good in that pic. He wanted that pic to have his own separate image. Again, I don't know what atmosphere they took the picture in. Was it that greatly different from the group pictures? Were the group pictures all from one type of area or scene? And this was a different scene. He wanted it separate. Maybe he just thought he looked really great. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't really no thought put into it other than the fact that he thought he looked good and he just put that picture separate from the others. Which I guess he could have put it on top of the other slide, but I don't know. Maybe he just wanted that picture to stand out because he just thought he looks really great in that. Or, number two, he really do got something going on with this woman. He wants to show this woman that he's devoting this picture to her. He don't care. Is a marriage on the in and outs? I don't know. I didn't get that vibe from the story, but then again, that's always an option. Then there's option number 3. And I'm leaning a bit more toward this one compared to the other two. And I'm going to say, okay. He may have had this thing where, just follow me here. He been married for a minute. Everybody know what the wife looked like, what he looked like. Sometimes when the guys get older, they want to still know they got it. Or not even just still know they got it, but show everybody else they still got it. So if this woman, let's say she is real fine and real good looking, he's going to put that separate picture completely, not even for himself, but for everybody else. Again, going with her, number one, how they're concerned about other people, how other people look, which I wouldn't be surprised because birds of a feather together type thing. Maybe they're both people that think about how other people look, how think about their image to other people, how they appear to other people. So if he's thinking a way that she's thinking like that, he might see this picture as a way to show everyone, I still got it. Look at this fine woman I'm in a picture with. Yeah, this is my best friend. It is, even though it is his best friend, and he's not like trying to do anything with this woman. He just capping. People use social media to cap all day long. He might want to place an image in other people's mind. He might want to give that image of the fact that maybe something could go on. I could if I wanted to. This my best friend. Look how good we look together in the picture. She fine. I got this fine woman. People do it. Okay, can't put that past him at all. This could be all about making himself look good, and just wanting to show the world that. But even a little deeper, because y'all know this is a Shades of Grey channel. I like to take it, I like to go all in between. And I'm going to take it even a little deeper with it. And what I think also more so maybe the situation here. I'm going to coin the term post-marriage depression. Okay, so what do I mean by that? In postpartum depression, a lot of women describe how after having a child, they will lose almost a sense of their self. They'll have a fear of a loss of themselves, and they'll feel like they gave up themselves, In marriage, that can happen too in relationships, and deep relationships in general, especially marriage. And it doesn't happen always so quickly. This is something that can happen over time in marriage. So what I mean with post-marriage depression, and what he may be doing right now is a form of rebellion. Because what does that even post-marriage depression look like, and why? Sometimes when people get together out of an act of devotion, and we see this a lot now in people that aren't even in committed relationships, which is crazy. They do these big acts of devotion in the sense of they give up a large part of themselves to show the devotion to their partner. Marking up their bodies with tons of tattoos of the partner over their face. Giving up their funds, giving up their life savings to a partner, giving up a kidney to a partner, just giving all these things. Again, people do this before they even marry these days, but just giving up a large part of yourself mentally, physically, just moving away, giving up your job and your career to show your devotion to that new partner, and just to give your all, because you feel that you have to give your all away in a relationship. In particular, we're talking a marriage. What that is going to inevitably do over time is you're going to sense that loss of self. You're going to, because even again, if it's material, it doesn't matter, material or physical, whatever you gave up, you gave that up because you felt that was a big part of you to show and give up. So you gave up something that you felt was big on your end. So you give up that big act, or that big whatever it was. Over time, you're going to subconsciously expect a major return from your partner. You devoted and you gave up your life and you gave these things. But what that did is that caused you to, in order to avoid a resentment, you're developing a low growing expectation from your partner. I gave you this major thing because I feel it's a major thing in my life to bring me greatness, to bring me happiness, to somehow bring me up somehow. So I'm giving this to you. I'm showing you this. Take it all, take everything, because my love for you, and you are my happiness now. You are my happiness. You're my everything. You're my world. That's why I gave it to you. So over time, when you start to realize the inevitable, which no one can make you happy, you have to make yourself happy. They're just supposed to enhance your life, bring something to your life, enhance what you're already. You need to find your happiness, and then they're just an enhancement for it. Their job is not to create it for you. They're not there to do that act that you're expecting like that, which is where a lot of people go wrong. So he may have done that. Maybe he felt he sacrificed a lot or did a lot, or maybe he let this woman control all of his life. Like his act of devotion and giving up was him to give up his life and let her control everything, let her do everything, which for him was fine in the beginning because that was her. He wanted her to be his source of happiness, his source of everything in this world. And when as it always does, time goes on, you realize that's not going to happen. You realize all that stuff is within yourself. You have to create your own happiness, create your own everything. You don't ever put it into one person. So maybe it happens with people over time when they don't realize that resentment tends to grow in your relationship. You start to resent that person. How many times have we heard people say, "Oh, I give up everything to be with you. I give my whole life for you. I give up this." Those conversations and arguments come up inevitably from that, from your loss of yourself and giving up yourself, the sense of self, and giving up your whole world. And him putting this picture up and having this deeper meaning behind it could just be an act of rebellion. It could be him now deciding, I'm not getting what I want in return, and now I've lost my whole world and you have taken over it. I want my own space. This is my page. You can't tell me what to do on my page. I'm not taking it down. It's not a big deal, because what instead you're really saying is, I don't want to take this down if it's a big deal, even if it's not a big deal. I'm not taking it down because you want me to take it down, and you're not taking this part of my life. I even gave you everything else. You're not taking this part of my life. So he could just be doing this to say, look at what I can do because I want to. Look at what you can't control, you can't take away. I'm just doing this because there's a deeper problem in our relationship. And so now, that could be a cry for help for him even calling a radio station and saying, and asking for everybody else to co-sign it, or to validate his feeling. So then now that, even though this picture, as he even stated, doesn't mean anything, is not a big deal, but now you've opened the gates for me to say, and I got a verification that you are doing too much. So now something else is going to be you doing too much. Or now the conversation is going to turn, you're trying to control me. All these things are going to come out of what he probably was feeling the entire time. So this picture could be about nothing what it seems on the surface, and more so just a slow development, or on the way to this post-marriage depression that he might be feeling. And this really needs a conversation. So, this is an interesting story. I can see again where both sides were coming from, and I can see hers, and what may be going on. Again, we're not in the marriage, don't know what's going on with them too. I don't know which of this was the actual truth with them. But what I will say in my final thoughts on this is what I believe to be the true issue here, and that is a loss of sense of self. I think going back to what we talked about just now, about how people get into relationships and they give up so much of themselves, and they have this low resentment, and they have this post-marriage depression happening. This is all with the fact that we have to remember that when you are building a union with someone, when you are getting married, you're bringing that partnership. It is a partnership. It is a union. You are bringing your worlds together. You are not leaving your world completely to jump into someone else's. You need to bring both your worlds together. That's why compatibility is so important. Communication is so important before you dive into marriage. That's why you have the counseling beforehand that even happens. You need to make sure so much that your two worlds can fit together, that you don't have to feel like you sacrifice your own just to join in someone else's. That's going to create a problem down the line. So in order from preventing that from happening in the first place, there needs to be a clear understanding that you don't give up your entire self when you go into these everybody got, I don't know what people want to call things these days. People want to avoid putting labels in marriages and everything. So I'm just going to call it, when you go a long-term union, honey, marriage situation, what people are doing these days. When you are marrying and and committing to a person for the long term, you mustn't lose your individuality. And you must not try to take someone else's individuality. Okay, it's important you have your own. You have to maintain your own space in your own life separate from each other. This is very healthy. Some people think, oh no, give it all up. You're married now. Your world is different. Your world is different. It's it's unified, but you don't leave your own self. You don't give yourself up. Maintain that book club. Maintain that painting and whatever you're doing outside. Continue your own individual growth. You're just growing together. That is the work of marriage. It is to grow together. That is the challenge of marriage. Those challenges you come through, and it's about keeping your union together while you continue to grow yourself up, so you guys can be like this, And also, it's important for you to understand your other partner doesn't even want you to give up your individuality in your own world, your own space. They don't want you to give that up, because what you're doing also, the one that wants to devote them their whole selves and give up their whole world, give up their whole life, you put pressure on your other partner, okay? You pressure him now because you're saying, well, you're my world now. You're my everything. You're my source of happiness. Whoa. Can you imagine being responsible for someone else's happiness and their everything? You have to be responsible for your own. Nobody wants that kind of pressure. It's like, find your own and let me join you and let me be part of that and help and feed into that. But don't put that on my shoulders for it to be, in order for me to find for you, to be there, be that for you, be that for yourself. So it's important to just understand that this man should be able to have his own space and his wife should be able to have their own space. You can have your own Instagrams. You guys don't need to have a combined one. You don't need to be all up in his, up in hers. You should be able to have your own Instagram, your own space to do whatever it is that you would like to do on your page. You should have your own individual things throughout a partnership. Of course, maintaining respect while you're doing that. I feel like, again, this man did that as an act of something in which he know his partner would not have been okay with in the first place. I fail to believe that you marry someone and you don't know how they are, how they might react to something. So I fail to believe that he did this without thinking there was a reaction that's going to happen. So communication. Communication is key. You cannot say that enough times. Communication is key. So instead of communicating the issue he lashed out and do it in other ways, as so many people do. I cannot tell you how a lack of communication is the biggest destroyer and destruction of relationships. Learn to sit down and talk to someone. Learn to sit down and talk. Give up your ego. People, please work on your egos. Your egos are the number one destruction of your own world. Give up your ego and learn to communicate and talk. Talk about what's going on, what's your feelings. Because I feel like this could have been avoided in the first place if you'd have really expressed what actually was going on. Because again, something had to be going on for him to even want to call and to even want to do that. It's just something a bit odd about it. It can be as seemingly innocent. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I'm not saying it's not. It could just be the man posted a picture, whatever. But if there is something going on that wasn't just that simple, I hope he would find they need to talk about what's going on. So, yeah, again, to just avoid that post-marriage depression, avoid those issues down the line, when it comes to you feeling like you don't have your own space and you don't have your own life outside of your marriage. Create it. Don't lose it in the first place. And if you didn't have it, create one after your reunion. Start a club, join something. Make sure that once you're in that union, if you didn't have it before, have it now, because you, again, don't want to have those feelings of being lost or losing yourself. So I think we can wrap it up there. I thought this was a good topic. Again, I chose this particular story to just kind of get into that whole loss of self and the importance of not losing oneself and the importance of maintaining your individuality in a union, and how important that is to not lose yourself while gaining a partner. And it's just important to, that's a form of self-love and a form of caring for yourself and caring for the other person, to not put that load on them as well. So hopefully I got everything. Yeah, I think that was it. I think this was a good topic. And again, I'm so glad you guys joined me today for it. And once again, if you would like to send me any topics to talk about, feel free to message me on Instagram at miss.august_. And I will see you guys later for the next topic. Bye.